أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Let's have a loud salawat for the health and the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi. In the previous nights, we started talking about the concept of taslim and submission. We say that Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam has said in a beautiful hadith that Shi'atuna al-musallamuna la-amrana al-akhidhuna biqawlana al-mukhalifuna la-a'da'ina. The Shias have three characteristics. The first one is being taslim, being submitted to Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We talked about its meaning. We say taslim means to agree and accept the word of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam without questioning, without undermining that ruling. And we talked about the fact that according to our narrations, without taslim you cannot even love Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Without taslim you cannot be saved at the time of occultation. And taslim is basically a confession to the fact that our knowledge is limited. And we're born with knowing nothing. As Quran says, لا تعلمون شيئا. You did not know anything. And Allah was the one who gave you the means of understanding sam'a wa basar wal fu'ad, so that you can start learning. So we want to confess the fact that we don't know anything. Allah Ta'ala is all knowing, all wise. And we must submit to Him and His representatives, Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We talked about the fact that we cannot pick and choose when it comes to accepting Islam. Islam comes as a package. We cannot say, well, I can take this part of Islam, but not that part. And the core of religion, in other words, the core of our religion is taslim, being submitted to Allah Ta'ala and His rulings. No matter how weird that ruling may sound to us. You have heard the story of Prophet Ibrahim. Prophet Ibrahim, ala nabiyina wa alayhi salam. He was put in a very, I would say, severe situation where Allah Ta'ala ordered him to slaughter his own son. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعِي قَالَ يَا بُنَيْ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ فَانْظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَى. He came to his son Ismail and said that, look, I saw in my dream. And the dreams of prophets are not like our dreams. The prophets, they received the revelation from Allah Ta'ala through different means. One of them is through dreams. He said that I saw in my dream that I have the obligation of slaughtering you. What do you think? For 1 minute, put yourself in the position of Ibrahim. What would you say to Allah? Ya Allah, why Ismail? I can sacrifice any other human being you want, but Ismail, your great servant, someone to become prophet, why do you want me to slaughter him? If you want me to kill him, fine. Why can't I just hang him? Why should I, cut off his throat? A violent act. Why should I be doing that? But Quran, what we learn from Quran is that Ibrahim did not question it, did not think it over. And he did what Allah wanted him to do, without having any second thought. And this tells us that, brothers and sisters, the orders of Allah, the commands of Allah, sometimes for us are not clear why they are commanded to us. Sometimes we do not understand why Allah tells us to do certain things. But that's where the taslim comes. That's where the trust comes. Do you trust God? Do you still believe that He is all-knowing? If you do, then do what He says, even if you don't understand. You see, brothers and sisters, if I do understand why Allah tells me to do something in a certain way, and I do that action, I cannot say that I'm fully submitted to Allah. Why? Because I already knew that thing was good for me. Right? If Allah tells us, for example, that eat food in the morning and evening, and we do that, say, Ya Allah, I'm submitted to you. You told us to do so. If Allah tells us to stay, do not eat qadurat, do not eat, nasty things, and we don't eat those things, we can't say, Ya Allah, I'm submitted to you. Well, you wouldn't do that anyways. It would be bad for you. When does taslim and submission comes? Submission comes where I cannot rationalize it for myself. I cannot really digest it. But I say, Ya Allah, you are my Lord, and you say it so. Ibrahim said to Ismail, Unzur madha tara. What do you think? What did Ismail say? قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Again, same thing with Ismail. Without giving it a second thought, he said, Ibrahim, oh my father, do what you are commanded to do, and inshallah you'll find me amongst the patient ones. I'll try to be patient, in other words. If God helps me, I'll be patient in this test of Allah. Just again, put yourself in the position of Ismail. What would you say to your father? Come on, Dad, you really think that God has told you to kill me? Why me? There's so many animals we can sacrifice. But what does he say? If this is what God wants, do it. And the hadith says that Ismail, look at the level of submission of Ismail. Ismail said to his father, خَمِّرْ وَجْهِي وَشُدَّ وَثَاقِي. He said, oh my father, you are my father obviously, and once you put that knife on my throat, you, out of your love for me, you might stop doing what Allah has told you to do. So please cover my face when you want to do that, and tighten my hands and legs so I won't be shaking a lot. I won't be moving my hands up and down, and that might stop you from doing what Allah has told you to do. So do that, so you won't stop doing what Allah has told you to do. Look at his level of submission. Ya abati if'al ma tu'mar. This is like the story of Laylatul Mabit, the night that Allah Ta'ala informed the Holy Prophet that, O Prophet, the mushrikeen are about to come and kill you overnight. They're just trying to attack you all together and kill you while you're at in your bed. Allah said to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, you go and tell Ali to sleep in your bed, in your place. He came, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came and said to Amir al-Mu'minin, Ya Ali, this is the situation. Allah wants you to sleep in my bed. Meaning that you're about to be sacrificed for me. Allah wants me to be alive, and you might get killed basically, because they're coming at night, there are going to be 40 men attacking you with their swords. Now, if you were at the place of Amir al-Mu'minin, what would you say? Ya Rasulullah, would I be saved on that night? Would Allah help me to stay alive after that? What would happen? But what did Amir al-Mu'minin say? Amir al-Mu'minin, salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. This is the month of Amir al-Mu'minin. Aliyun ma'al Qur'an wal Qur'an ma'ali. This is the month of Qur'an, and Amir al-Mu'minin is. He said, Ataslamanna bimabiti. Amir al-Mu'minin said that, Ya Rasulullah, would you be saved if I sleep in your bed? Allahu Akbar. Meaning that this is all I'm concerned with. The only thing that I'm concerned with is that you stay alive. Ataslamanna bimabiti. Would you be saved? And the Holy Prophet said, Na'am. فَتَبَسَّمَ عَلِيٌّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ. Amir al-Mu'minin smiled. And he was so happy that he can save the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that he went to prostration and sajda and thanked Allah ta'ala. He said, Shukran lillah, shukran lillah, shukran lillah, that I can save the Holy Prophet with my life. Like Ismail, without questioning. Now this is different, a little bit different. Ismail said, Satajiduni insha'Allah ma'as sabirin. Allahu Akbar. Ismail was not sure whether he would pass this test or not. he said that, I'm not sure, but inshallah, Allah will help me to be patient in this test. And I can pass this test of Allah and be submitted to Him. And would not be complaining about it. Inshallah ma'as sabiri. But Amir al-Mu'minin didn't say that. Why? Because he said in another place that if all the veils of the heaven are removed, my yaqeen, my level of confidence would not be changed a bit. This is how much yaqeen I have in Allah and the hereafter. Amir al-Mu'minin said, Ya Rasulallah, do what Allah has commanded to do. When he got off from prostration from sajda, he said, Imdhi lima umirta, fidaka sam'i wa basari. He said, Ya Rasulallah, do what you are commanded to do. Whatever it is, I'll sleep in your bed and I'll be killed. I'm submitted to you. Ismail and Ibrahim are walking towards that place in Mina to slaughter Ismail. Shaitan, as you know this story, he comes up. Look at how Shaitan tries to deviate and manipulate with Ibrahim. He says, "Ma turid min hadha al-ghulam." Listen to this. These stories are in Quran, so that we take the lesson from it. "Ma turid min hadha al-ghulam, ghulam lam ya'si Allah tarfata 'aynin tadhbahu." You are going to sacrifice and slaughter your son who has never committed a sin? Is that logical? Who is saying this? Shaitan. Learn this lesson from this story. Shaitan doesn't come to you and say, oh, don't do it because Allah told you. Don't listen to Allah. No. He comes to you and tells you that what Allah has told you is not correct, and he tries to bring you he puts it in a logical format so you can be fooled by him. Ibrahim did not listen to Shaitan. Again, Shaitan came and said, إِنَّكَ إِمَامٌ يُقْتَدَى بِكَ فَإِنْ ذَبَحْتَ وَلَدَكَ ذَبَحَ النَّاسِ أَوْلَادَهُمْ. He tried to attack Ibrahim's mind from another perspective. He's attacking Ibrahim's level of submission. What did he say? He said, Ibrahim, you are imam, you are leader for the people. If you kill your son, people will learn that from you, and they will start doing the same thing. Come on, don't do that. Look at how Shaitan is trying to deceive. He tries, as he says it in Quran. He says in Quran that, Ya Allah, I will glamorize, I will try to beautify the haram actions. I will try to make the bad actions beautiful for your servants, for ibadullah, for the humans. This is what he's doing. So the lesson we take is that when God has commanded us to do something, any argument contrary to the command of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, no matter how logical, I want to emphasize on that, no matter how logical it may seem to me, that logic, that argument against the ruling of Allah, it's invalid. Because submission is the highest level of logical reasoning. That if you have a Lord who is wise, who is all-knowing, and tells you to do something, what other logic can go against that? Obviously, anything else, any other logic is invalid. I need to be submitted to him. And Prophet Ismail goes to Mina and tries to, as you know the story, tries to put the knife on the throat of Ismail, and it doesn't work. And when he passes that test and Allah sends that sheep for him to slaughter instead of Ismail, Allah Ta'ala improves his level, enhances his level to the level of Imam. He becomes Imam. As you know, as we have in the hadith, that he was Abd before becoming a Nabi. After being Nabi, Prophet Ibrahim became Rasul. Then he became Khalil ar-Rahman, a friend of Allah. When he became Khalil ar-Rahman, by passing this test, he became Imam. He reached the level of Imam according to Quran. The level of the imtihan of testing. So what is the lesson that we learn from this story of Ibrahim? That you gotta, whatever command of Allah is, doesn't matter how weird it sounds to me, to us, that is something that has come from Allah. Look at this story of Bani Israel with the cow. It's mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. That's why Surah Al-Baqarah is called Baqarah, right? That's a person was killed from the people of Bani Israel. And they came and asked Musa, ala nabiyina wa alayhi salam, help us to find the killer. We don't know who has killed this young man. Musa came to them and told them, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُكُمْ أَن تَذْبَحُوا بَقَرَةً. Allah has told you to slaughter, to sacrifice a cow. قَالُوا أَتَتَّخِذُنَا هُزُوًا. Allahu Akbar. Allah goes in detail when it comes to this story. And these are not fairy tales. These are, real stories that happen. And Allah, there's a reason that these stories are mentioned in Quran. The Bani Israel, the people of Musa, say that, oh, Musa, are you joking with us? We're telling you we cannot find a killer. And you come and tell us to slaughter a cow? How is that going to help us to find a killer? Again, submission. You cannot understand how is that is related, but Allah told you to do so. Allah knows best. These stories are in Quran, so we learn that lesson. God told you to wear hijab. I don't understand why. I don't understand why inheritance for women is half of men. I don't understand why LG such and such have certain rulings in Islam. Remember the story of Bani Israel. They said, you joking with us? Now what happened next, they say to Musa that Musa, tell us more details about this cow. Jokingly. Because they were thinking in their mind that Musa has then taken them seriously. So they say that, come on, tell us, how should this cow look like? What color would it be? Give us more details about its appearance. And he told them that it should be yellow color, it should not be old, it should not be young, it should be middle age, it should be this. He told them all the details. Now, when they heard all those details, they found a cow that looked like that. They slaughtered it, and they said, now what? We wanted to find a killer. We slaughtered a cow. So how is that going to help us now? Allah says, then. You see, until this point, Bani Israel do not even know why they killed this cow. Then Quran says, we told them to strike a part of this cow, that cow, to the dead body of that man. That man will become alive by the miracle of Allah, will become alive, and he will tell them who killed him. God, come on, Allah, couldn't you just make him alive without making us kill a cow? This is where the submission comes. I don't understand the wisdom behind it. Why a cow and not a sheep? Why can Musa just touch that dead body and make him alive like Prophet Isa? Why should a part of a dead body of a cow touch that dead body to make it alive? I don't understand, honestly. Do you guys know the wisdom behind it? And it's not mentioned in Quran either. But Allah wanted to mention that, to emphasize on that. You don't understand, but I understand what I'm doing. I'm your Lord. They did that. The dead body became alive, and he told them that my cousin killed me. As simple as that. So I'm not going to take a lot of time, inshallah. We'll continue this discussion tomorrow night about taslim and levels of taslim that we need to observe. But inshallah, in these nights we practice. It's easy, as I mentioned before, it's easy to say taslim, we are submitted to Imam Mahdi, we are submitted. There's a beautiful story of a man from Hilla who always prayed to Allah for the reappearance of Imam Mahdi, Ajjallah Fajr Sharif. And one day, as he was praying to Allah, out of town. He was, sitting by himself, praying to Allah, Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj, crying. A man walks to him and says that, what do you want from Allah? He says, well, I've been begging Allah to send back his, imam. We need him. And an imam of our time has a lot of companions. He has thousands and thousands of companions ready for him to fight for him. The man says that, I'm your imam. How many companions do you think I have? He says, well, I believe hundreds of thousands. Imam tells him that there are only 2 people in your town who are willing to sacrifice for me, who are submitted to me, who would listen to me. And I will show you how. Imam tells him that go back to your town, Halla. Thursday night, tell them to come to your house. And before they come to your house, take 2 sheep to the roof of your house. Tell them that I'll be there in your house on Friday night, and I'll be visiting them. So he calls people, come join us in our room, in our house. Imam Mahdi is coming to see us, and we are going to have the blessing of visiting Imam Mahdi Ajjal Fajr Sharif. So everyone comes. He has taken the sheep on the roof, and all of a sudden they see a light coming to the roof. And Imam, they hear a sound from the roof that Imam is calling. That Imam said that there are only 2 people. One was this person, the other one was a butcher from Hilla. Imam calls on that butcher, come upstairs, come to the roof. He comes to the roof. Imam tells him to slaughter 1 sheep. So once he slaughters that sheep, the blood starts coming down, from the roof. And people start thinking that, Ya Allah, Allah killed this butcher. They didn't know that there's a sheep upstairs on the roof. So they thought that Imam killed the butcher, poor guy. Imam calls on the second guy, who was the host. He goes upstairs on the roof. Again, Imam tells the butcher to slaughter the second sheep. And he does that. Again, the blood starts coming down from the roof. And they start running away. Say, Imam is angry today and he's killing us. Let's leave. Imam tells them, this is how much people are submitted. They're submitted to us as long as it doesn't affect them. As long as it doesn't hurt them. So in these nights, the reason why we fast, the reason why we get together is to level up, to improve our level of taslim, inshallah ta'ala, by the blessing of this holy month of Ramadan, inshallah, and barakah of Imam al-Zaman, ajjalallah ta'ala, farajahu al-sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj. Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج وجعلنا من خير أنصاره وأشياعه وأتباعه والمستشهدين بين يديه صلوات.